This is your weekly YouTube channel audit livestream. All you need to do is use the correct link in the description, fill out the form, and we'll consider your channel for review. That's right, channel reviews are free, but you can send us a super chat and watch us discuss your question live on air. If you submit your channel for review, expect the following. We will share with you our knowledge, experience, and passion as fellow YouTube creators. I want to give a massive shout out and thanks to our moderators who do an awesome job every single live stream. And that's your onboarding done. What channels have you brought us this week? Well, hello. I almost got the continuity right there. I am wearing the same t-shirt I was wearing in that video intro, but I'm not wearing the same glasses. Funny story, these are prescription glasses, and now a year later I'm finding it more and more difficult to read anything with these glasses or see anything. So this is why sometimes you'll see me in the live streams just wearing boring prescription I can see glasses. Hello everybody, to people such as Shout2Pie Creations there. And who else have we got? We've got Desi Foodie 1024 also joining us here. And Athe Soza Adouj, apologies if I pronounce your name incorrectly there. Vegan Cookies Good Reviews is also in the vidIQ house. And Gifts HQ. I do remember you making several appearances during our Creator Appreciation Week a couple of weeks ago. Hello, everybody. Welcome the vidIQ crew to another Tuesday channel audit live stream where we take a look at your channels and we offer you advice, wisdom, guidance, a little bit of comedy, and hopefully some motivation to take your channel to the next level wherever you are in your YouTube journey. And as always, I could not do this with an incredible co-host. This person sometimes hosts a live stream, but they are in the wingman position today, and they go by the name of Dan. Yo, Dan, welcome. How are you doing? Hey.
So
man of few words until he says some words. Go ahead.
I was watching the live stream and I noticed, I'll forget if I don't say this now. I noticed that when the stream starts with the new intro thing, there's a split second where you're just there staring at the camera. And
I was wondering that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does that.
Right. So remember next time when we start the live stream and that video kicks in, I'll be like this. and then the video will just start something like that. So yeah, thanks for the technical review there of StreamYard. StreamYard.
That's all I got.
StreamYard, yeah. We've been having some experiences with them this week. If you're wondering why the live stream appeared at 9 o'clock this morning and then disappeared and then reappeared, StreamYard is why. I will say no more on that front. You have all seen the intro, I assume, which shows you how this live stream works. And we'll be looking at your channels for the next roughly 90 minutes. And I think, Dan, why don't we just jump straight into this, and look at the first channel that's submitted on forms. How does that sound to you? All right, let me present to you the first channel. And they go by the name of Jellybean Craftz with a Z. They have 3,000 subscribers, 78 videos. And what we ask now in the forms are a couple of questions to help us guide the narrative of the live stream. And so the goal of this channel, very ambitious, this one, Dan, to be one of the top 3 in their niche. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to identify your niche fairly quickly when we look at the channel. Their biggest obstacle right now, besides getting too into my head, that happens to all of us, you would say retention and wanting them to come back for more. And what part of a channel do you want us to focus on? Are my intros all wrong? Is my voice over boring? Are my thumbnails appealing enough? So a few questions there, Dan. Channel banner says resin and art. Coloricious. Is that how you say that? Coloricious?
It's a made-up word, so I think you're allowed to say it kind of how
I'm going to go with colorlicious. I don't know. Thumbnails. We'll go into the thumbnails, I think, after we've looked at the videos themselves, but they are very colorful, big, chunky fonts. I might wonder whether the fonts are distracting me too much away from the hero of the video in terms of, I guess, the art resin. But again, we'll come back to that. And just like any initial, first impressions, Dan, that you can tell us in 10 seconds before we click on one of the videos?
I agree. The text is very vibrant and it draws my eye, which is good. And I'm kind of wondering the same thing. Sometimes should my eye not be drawn to the thing on the screen? But I'm looking and the things on the screen are not, it's not super clear what they are just yet. And I think part of it for me,
Sometimes. Yeah,
yeah, for me,
sometimes.
it's like the black background. I get that from the banner, it says like it's a resin channel and stuff, but if you didn't know any better, would you know that like the kind of frog on the right side in like that second thumbnail down on the left is what is being created today,
Right.
you know? So I think putting it in a more natural environment, like on a table and stuff,
See,
it,
yeah.
it could help set the tone a little bit better. But again, I this is a new niche to me, so I
Let's get
yeah,
back to that because I
yeah.
think they did mention the hooks, retention, and their voiceovers. So pick a video, Dan, and let's watch it.
Let's watch that one I was just talking about on the second
All right,
row.
so
First
epic
one.
bubble technique you need to try now. Hopefully you can all hear this as I play it.
Should we pause?
Well, we might as well, Dan, because I guess you have something to say about the first 8 seconds.
They mentioned intros. That's why I thought we would stop here. There's a lot of branded intro going on, and I would just love it if the video just kind of started.
Me too.
And
Yeah.
These is a personal opinion. A lot of people do share this opinion, though. These types of intros are like a skip. You know, like let's get to the thing I clicked on, and a skip is like the best case scenario. There are folks who might just click away. We don't want that. So you mentioned intros as like, hey, are these any good? In your question, and so I would say if we could try some videos without all of this and just like get started, that would be an interesting test.
I will agree with Fryrock here. Intros are dead. Long live the hook. That's what we want to see. The thing that's going to confirm the title and the thumbnail as soon as we click. Let's carry on. I think this is the start. Let's take down the music. Oh, the music's now ended.
Hola, mis amores. Boy, do I have a sweet one for you today. And it's so easy to make. I'll be using this frog mold, but you can do this to any mold. I will leave links to all the products in the description box. And I've also added an Amazon storefront too. There are some juicy discount codes and a new one from...
I'll pause there, Dan. So we've got now maybe a 20-second hook. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if I pretending the video starts when we see this mold on the table for a second. Yeah. I'm intrigued. I have a question about that's kind of a cool little mold. Where do I get that? And it was answered pretty quickly. It's in the description if I want to get this for myself.
Yeah.
And so I like that. So yeah, I guess I don't know much yet. I'm trying to imagine how long is the intro without the intro? Like, you know what I mean? Where are we at if we stopped here? Is it?
Oh, so I think it was about 25
so
seconds, roughly 25 seconds into it at this point.
Yeah, it did feel like it was taking a little bit of time. Just and this isn't something that I don't know if this is even something they need to fix. For example, for me, I was kind of like, oh, this is we're kind of being methodical about how we're speaking and everything. And
I agree with that. Yeah, there is a very measured pace going. I think at a speed where you're assuming that the viewer is going to be encountering this type of thing for the first time, complete beginner. I'm all right with that, Dan, because I feel as if now viewers are intelligent enough to say, all right, well, I can run this at 1.5 speed and it'll go at the pace I'm happy with.
True.
So, I mean, they could test making a video where they talk twice as fast and see if it makes any difference.
I don't think they need to do that. I think I was going to blame myself a little bit and say we're doing our own show right now. And so there is like that temptation to, keep it moving because you're also worried about your own audience while you're doing channel reviews like this one. So I think part of the issue is exclusive to me personally. So yeah, but they asked about their voiceover and I did notice their pace. And I don't know if that's something they should necessarily focus on. What do you think about the audio quality itself? It did seem like it was a bit echoey to me.
Well, I'll just bring up the volume again. I initially thought that the buffer video quality, perfectly lit by the way, And I thought the audio quality was good, but let me just bring it back up again.
For things like this, grab your mold and add a
I see
small
what you mean
drop
now,
of
Dan.
UV
Yeah, if it
into
is a
the eye socket.
voiceover,
Make sure there aren't any bubbles. Then,
if it is a voiceover, you usually expect there to be like just no echo and like a really crisp audio. But I don't think it's really detracting. I think, yeah, maybe a microphone upgrade at some point is an idea, but I don't think that's the real issue right now. I think what the issue is for me is, let's get to around about here. My guess is the creator has gone through the entire production process of putting this together. This is essentially what we see on the thumbnail, but we don't see this end result until 14 minutes into the video. I presume, I'm guessing it's nowhere teased earlier on. You're just going from literally A to Z. And I think what would help is if you show this like a tease of the final product somewhere in a hook to confirm to the viewer that this is the end result. Not like I clicked on this and I'm 5 minutes into the video and I don't know if that's going to be the final result. But if you just confirm that in the hook, that would be perfect for me.
And I do think what we're looking at right now is almost the thumbnail. The only thing I would remove is the frog in the back.
You're right,
then
Dan, yeah.
move your hands to the center. Like that could be the thumbnail, and it puts everything to scale really, really nicely. Now I get a sense of how big this frog is, and it's seen in such a better light. Your lighting is fantastic. So, or that could be the thumbnail. I like this a lot, and I think even without text or anything else, that would have been, in my opinion, a better thumbnail than on like the black background. And the cutout, it's always an extra step, right? To cut out the background when you're trying to make these thumbnails and stuff anyway. It would save you time to try a thumbnail like that. I would love to see it, honestly, because I think it once I saw you holding the finished product, to me, it resonated a lot more. It was like that instant like click of like, I know what we're kind of getting into now. So I like the title, Epic Bubble Technique You Need to Try Now. And then if I see the frog made of bubbles in your hand, because right now, even the frog's cut off, it's kind of hard to tell the bubbles. Like the technique is being lost to me a little bit there because it's a thumbnail. It's small. I think it's like so close to being great. I would love to see one, and you could test this if you're like, but I like my thumbnail style. Like test it, do both. You can now test multiple thumbnails at the same time and see which one people click on.
Vicky, can you just bring up that comment again? Because I think it's important that we maybe address this, because I've spoken about like you want to bring up the final result, but this presumably other resin creator is saying that if you show the product, people will watch the video. Are you saying that like if you do just show the final result at the beginning, then people have no reason to watch? That is surprising to me. And and does that make me feel as if then these types of videos aren't tutorials, or the more experiences where you want to experience the creation of this art resin creation?
Yeah.
Because typically when you're watching a tutorial, you want to know that you're getting the final result and invest in the content. So it's an interesting opinion, and I don't want us to kind of disagree with it, but just giving like what we would typically recommend for a hook in this example.
Right. I'm not in the space, so I can't say definitively. And even if I was in the space, no one could say anything definitively on YouTube. But here's what I will say. Why is it okay to put the finished product in the thumbnail, but not in the first few minutes of the video?
Dan. Ooh.
I'm not trying
I'm joking.
I'm genuinely asking, and maybe that's why it's okay that the frog is like kind of obscured and kind of hard to see. Maybe that's the point. It's supposed to intrigue you, but not show off the whole finished product. I don't know, but to me, the title says you have to try this technique. So it's not really about the process of it being made from an entertainment standpoint. It is a tutorial. And maybe what DNA is talking about is less of tutorial videos and more of other types of like entertainment driven experience videos. I don't know. And I'm speculating because we're not looking at their channel right now. So I don't know. But yeah, it's a good point. It's interesting that they say they tested it. They've noticed a change from when they do and don't show. And yeah, follow your own data. But my job here during these channel reviews is to pitch different questions and different ideas, so you can all try different things on your channels to see what's working, what's not. Because Rob and I immediately noticed, oh, it'd be kind of cool to see where we're going with this. Like if it's like to me, it's like a cooking show. If they're like, oh, today we're making cherry pie, they typically have one. We're like, we're making this. If it's, oh, I already see the cherry pie, you messed up, and I don't stop watching. I'm like, well, no, I want to learn. I'm here to learn how to make cherry pie. So I don't know. That's where my mind is, but maybe audiences are a little bit different.
So in terms of the thumbnails, and I think we've kind of addressed this now, haven't we? And again, looking at this video, whereby you were making some really good points about how some of the freeze frames from the end of a video could be the thumbnails themselves, instead of this partially shown art and then text, which is essentially repeating the title. So it kind of feels like a wasted opportunity to add more. Like, as you say, even just having hands there to show scale of how big or small this item is interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess to cap off this channel, we've looked at kind of the challenges that they wanted us to focus on and some of the things that we suggest they could improve. This is all on the backdrop of a channel that's gaining momentum in terms of view counts. They're getting thousands of views on the most recent videos, all outliers according to our own vidIQ tool, which just says that these latest videos are performing better than previous, and they have 3,500 subscribers. So that all of the numbers are really encouraging here for this channel.
Mm-hmm. I agree. This is strong views, consistent views, and I'd be very, very, very proud if I was this creator. How many subscribers? They're getting more views than subscribers on a number of videos.
Yeah.
All of just super strong signals here.
And like no like big outliers either. To say you have 3,000 subscribers and 100,000 views, and your highest view video is 12,000. That might seem like a bad thing, but it's actually like you're just consistent across the board. You have no stinkers, and you have no viral moments, which are like maybe setting unrealistic expectations. Possible content opportunity here is, I think this type of content could naturally align itself to a shorts opportunities, just like a quick time lapse of your long form video, like just cutting out the really important bits and sliding it into a 30-second creation. That may allow you to reuse some of the content if you choose to do that. Well, that is Jellybean Craftz there, our first channel we're auditing today. And Dan, I will now show you our first gaming channel that's submitted, which is Jebs. And they have 180 subscribers. They've made 166 videos. And if I was to introduce their channel, can I just check this is the right one? It is. The goal of the channel is to make people happy and entertained while watching their favorite games, just like I did way back when. Their biggest YouTube obstacles, creating hooks and being nostalgic. Don't want that short form dopamine hunting content. So hooks are difficult for me.
Okay.
And so maybe they're looking at hooks. General advice, in my opinion, the thumbnails are pretty nice. And also the quality of the videos is high. So I think we should just immediately pick one of their videos. Which one would you like to take a stab at?
Let's see. Horror gaming channel is always like difficult for me because I'm like, I don't recognize anything. Maybe the Elden Ring video. It seems kind of like in terms of length, it was a good video for them, and it seems like in terms of length, it's on average the same. It's a little bit of a different game.
It is from their horror stuff they're typically covering.
Yeah,
and this is 51 minutes long, so I'm wondering what type of hook we're going to get from this.
I want to look at a little bit of it, and there's another video I want to look at too.
Right. I didn't know what to play, so I downloaded Elden Ring. I'm just gonna try. Oh, we.
What was that text in the bottom?
Play, so I downloaded.
All right, 4.5 hours stream.
I'm just gonna try. Oh,
okay.
We need to make a class. I need to choose. Do I use the controller for this? Gonna make.
I just want to pause it there, 10 seconds in, because the first thing they said is they didn't know what to play. Was it right? They didn't know what they wanted to play, so they just downloaded Elden Ring.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say, because I have made this kind of content before where you take a live stream and you cut it down. I love that you managed to cut down such a long stream to such a short amount of time. Like, props. That's awesome. When I've seen this done successfully, most of the time somebody makes a hook that is done after the stream is over, meaning
Gotcha.
you should make a pre-recorded thing that introduces your video in a more exciting way, because right now you're using what sounds like a good sentence as like the start of your video. And when I hear someone say like I didn't know what to play, so today we're playing Elden Ring, it's not as exciting as if you were to make an intro that's
Yeah.
something like, I have never played Elden Ring before. So I was doing a stream and I thought I would go in completely as like a first time like experiencing. I've watched no videos. I've like talk about how you've never played this game before. Talk about how it's like, wow, like I don't know what I'm getting into. And people who know Elden Ring will know that you're in for a treat, right? Like it'll be, I think, a more interesting hook than right now just using your pre-recorded bit from like Twitch.
I am one of those casual gamers where, like, when I go on Reddit, I see nothing but Elden Ring posts and stuff. And I've been seeing these posts for years at this point, but for whatever reason, I just refuse to try and play this game because it feels like it would just be a monumental life suck.
I would hate it.
I'd be in it for hundreds of hours, and life would just have to be put on pause.
Yeah, that I would not enjoy that.
Yeah,
I watch a number of streamers who do make this kind of content. They'll cut down streams into like 10 or 20-minute videos that are really hyper edited. You don't even have to do that, because I've seen streamers do what you're doing, cut down 4 hours to 50 minutes and get a lot of views. But they both of those groups have that one thing in common, where because you asked about hooks, so I'm focusing on it. They make a hook for the video.
Yeah.
You know everything that happened in this stream, which is a huge benefit to you. A lot of gaming videos, people will do a let's play, they'll record their intro, and that's their intro, and then they'll do the gameplay and not even have an intro ready for the things that actually happen, the things that they weren't expecting that the game throws at them, and they still go with that original intro. But as a streamer, you're editing all this, it's in your timeline, and it's like, hey, why don't I make an intro that you could tease something that's going to happen later. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do, and I think it's going to get people more invested. And it even gives you an opportunity to say real quick, by the way, this was done during a stream. If you want to see the entire thing, the VOD is on this VOD channel, or you can subscribe to my Twitch or whatever it is. Follow me on Twitch. So those are like my initial critiques.
Did you say you wanted to check out something else as well?
Yeah, they have another video. There's a game I saw that's really popular, and it's on the middle there. This game is pure chaos.
Right.
I just want to see what they did there.
Yeah. Okay. Just bear with me. I need to unmute it. All right. Here we go. This is a shorter video for them, 25 minutes.
It's not a very long game.
Well, welcome to a little game called Buckshot Roulette. I mean, we've probably all seen it by now. I mean, it's been out now for quite a while, but I haven't really played it. So it's been a while since I watched it, and I really wanted to play it for myself. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't have anything else to add to that.
All right, let's pause there. I think this is, again, you're almost, it feels to me, Dan, correct me if I'm right, it feels to me like the creator's saying, well, I just want to play this game, and I thought I'd just press record. That's it. That's my pitch to you. And it just doesn't have enough intrigue. Like, I feel as if they need to develop a thread or through line. Like, there is nothing inherently wrong with you deciding you're going to try and play a new game, but give us a why. Like, maybe it's because you've refused to play this game, same as Elden Ring, even though everybody's talking about it. You're always going to be the late adopter, but that means you can enjoy it after it's all the updates have fixed the problems with it all. Like, you have a specific thing in video games that has to be on point. Like, I don't know what that might be the mechanics, the learning curve, the community behind it, but I just feel as if I'm not sensing that, like, the enthusiasm or passion in the creator, unless it's really intentional throughout. And it means that I don't feel that same kind of passion to watch the video. Again, being very critical on the first 18 seconds of this cut down live stream, I guess.
Yeah, there's more energy in their intro here than the Elden Ring video. I'll say that.
I'll agree with that. Yeah,
Elden Ring, it was almost like they were streaming that day out of obligation, based on like the way you say, like, I didn't know what to play today. This one, you seem a little more excited to play the game. And it's one you've seen before, and you've probably been looking forward to it. I would have just written a different intro for this that wasn't like, you've probably seen this game. Tell us about the game. I might not have seen this game. I wouldn't assume that. I only just learned about this game like 2 days ago.
Right.
So people can find out about games a lot later, and it's okay to, you know, cater to that audience too. This game is like wild, by the way. It's totally like I don't know. I don't want to. It's probably not one you want to watch on stream. I'll say that.
Okay, I'll pause there.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. So anyway, the title also. I wish I had a better suggestion. It's a very generic kind of title. Saying a game is pure chaos.
I think the title's fine. I think you would just need a thumbnail that reflects that chaos more than what we can see here.
Or like, I'm not good at buckshot roulette, and you could show because there's a point where like the gun points at the camera's face, you know, like, so you could show that. There's like a few different angles you can take where it kind of it points to why it was chaotic, because the game is supposed to be chaotic. We know that. Like, why was it chaotic for you? What was your experience in the game is something I think could be better demonstrated in the title and thumbnail.
Now, I think one thing we probably need to just add at the end of this, Dan, is that this creator is in a already very crowded and competitive space, which is, I would say, let's play content with better packaging than what I've seen from other Let's Play creators that we've audited down the years. But having said that, it's still Let's Play content on horror games predominantly. And, you know, we probably audit 2 or 3 of them a month, if not more. Whereas when we come back to the Jellybean channel, this is the first art resin channel we've audited probably in several months. And so in terms of supply and demand, there's that challenge there for this creator.
Yeah. I'll talk about that for a minute too, because they are doing the type of content that I typically watch, which is streamers who turn their streams into videos. I watch that a lot, and I watch a number of different ones, but a lot of them are kind of like I'll say like friends, you know. So I end up watching people who are very inspired by each other, and so then my advice becomes similar to what they're doing. But I think it's still valid. Like the people I watch are like Doug, Point Crow, Failboat, like, just there's like a group of friends basically, and they all kind of stream together sometimes. Anyway, the thing they all have in common is they go into a stream with like an idea, and it's not an idea for what game they're going to play. It's an idea for how they're going to play a game. It always has to relate back to a unique experience. So Point Crow, for example, he'll stream a lot of Pokemon games, but it's not just him playing Pokemon. It's like a heavily modded version of the game, and he'll do some insane challenge, right? And that's what a lot of them like to do, is just, I could play a game. Anyone can do that. But what if I played it differently? What if I played this game with some self-imposed restriction? Or what if I played a modded version of it that adds a little bit of pain to my experience? And people really tune in for that. People really love to see somebody that is not just playing a game, but is being challenged in a way that they themselves would not, like, I wouldn't play the game like this, but this is kind of fun to watch. And that entertains me a lot. That's just one avenue. It's just one type of stream you can do, but I enjoy it. And since you're cutting down videos in the similar way, I thought I'd pitch that. But watch other streamers is my main advice. Watch other streamers that are really popular, and take note of how they prepare a stream, because that seems to be key when it comes to streaming. How are you preparing ahead of time for your live stream?
I want to give Jebs some final credit as well, in that they have like a fully specced out channel, and that they're doing live streams, they're doing shorts, they're trying all formats at the moment as well, and the quality of them looks like, I'll just quickly show it, Dan. Even on the live streams, they've actually put in a dedicated thumbnail there, and all of them say "you died," which and it's very simple, but it's an effective way of branding their content, because like I don't think anybody else always puts "you died" on their thumbnails. And then the shorts are well laid out as well, in terms of they have the content at the bottom of the short, and then the reaction at the top of the screen as well, which was good. Anyway, the reason I brought us both on screen is because I try to remember to do this, and I often forget, but I've remembered this week that we're going to talk about Self-Indulgent Gaming Corner, which is where you share what your gaming experience has been this week. Or if you're not a gamer, like, what pastime or winding down activity have you been enjoying beyond YouTube? So Dan, video game, please, and how are you enjoying it?
I went back to playing Skyrim, and interestingly enough,
Again, I think.
yeah, it's just one I played a little bit at a time, but this time I'm trying to get actually progressed in the game. I usually get distracted with it, and I eventually just stop. I just put it down. So I've never gotten truly really far, and then I'll start a new save file every time. So this time I picked up an old save file, and I'm trying to actually like play through more of it. I'm having a lot of fun. It holds up really well. It still is an immersive. It's still an immersive experience all these years later. I don't know. It's just sometimes you just got to play something old.
I'm trying to work out the abbreviation here. Warhammer 40k, I think, on TTS. My mind says text to speech.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I don't know. We have COD Warzone. And what else do we have? There we are. We have a fellow Skyrim fan there, Dan. And I've been back on the OG Fables. Is that the Xbox original Fable?
I thought about.
Remember it had an enormous amount of hype, and it turned out to be rubbish, or maybe not rubbish if you're enjoying the game.
The problem I had with Fable is it's too short. It was you could even do all the side content really fast.
Fair enough. Any more games? I will be crafting until I die. Crafting for life. Nothing wrong there. Yeah. Dan, you can select some more games if anybody's mentioning them. I will tell you that I'm working on Doom Eternal. I don't know if I whined about this, but I was infuriated that I needed to create a Bethesda account to play the game, even though I just want to do a single play campaign. So Mailinator came to my rescue on that one to create a throwaway account. I didn't enjoy the game at first because I thought the risk and reward aspect of having to get close to enemies, shoot them, and then like do a gore kill to get health and ammo. But I've got used to that now. And bit niche, but a VR game, Dan, Until You Fall. I don't know if you've heard of that. Basically, you hold two weapons and like you're going to blocking or swiping your sword. It's quite entertaining and fun, but I've got a little stuck on it. So I'm doing the typical level grinding where I've got to get, I think it's ether to upgrade my weapons. That's my gaming history of the last week, I think. How interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
Shall we move on to another channel?
Yeah.
All right, then. Let me just load it up in the background. And I will introduce to you. And I can type in the right numbers on my sheets. Yes, I think this is the right one. I don't know if we've ever audited a channel like this, Dan, so it's always exciting to encounter a new niche. It is DiceCrazyDude Dice Reviews. Or would it be Die Reviews? I don't know what. And news. I didn't know there was any news about Dice. This feels incredibly niche to me, but let's investigate. You want to work with Dice and role-playing game companies to make new products.
Love that.
All right, that sounds cool. You want to get into the industry.
Yeah.
Making review videos relevant beyond those just searching for the item. All right, so that's interesting. They want to make content which has a bigger total addressable market. And the question is, does my video packaging create curiosity? So this feels like a creator who's really thought about the fundamentals of their channel and the goals they want to achieve and some very specific questions that they want answering. The question is, are Dan and myself qualified to answer them? So they've gone political. Not sure if you want to do that, but fair enough. There we are.
Could the dice predict the election? That's kind of a cool way to jump on a trend.
Yes, curious.
It did not resonate with the audience, unfortunately, but I'm glad you tried it. And look, the channel's fine. The next video got almost 1,000 views. You should absolutely try things when you have the inspiration. I love the focus on this channel, and I think there is an audience for this. I think the dice are just like such a thing when it comes to tabletop games. And I think this is a cool space. And I love that they put their goal is beyond YouTube. Like YouTube is like one of the things they're doing to build their resume.
Nice one. Roscoe and Disco beer review.
Oh,
very, very good.
Yeah. Get all your puns in now. So one thing that jumped out at me was a comment that was put on the screen for a second. Slavgard said, I watch channels that make dice. And I have to stay on this for a second because I like the thumbnails. We could talk about all the stuff we've talked about already in a couple channels. But listen, like you told us you want to like get into this, right? And maybe you're already doing this. Maybe I'm going to harp on this a little too much, but I think that is a natural step for you to take, which is to try and learn how you can make your own dice and maybe even take people on that journey. Like document yourself trying to learn this skill of making your own dice, because that is going to be the thing that like helps you stand out to companies. If you want to actually make new products, make a product. I don't think you do this tomorrow. I think it's hard to do things like that, but I think it's like something you work towards, and it could be a new idea for a new type of content for your channel at the very same time.
Just did a search for D&D dice, and so I think in order to start getting what looks to be the ceiling here, looks to be for the absolute viral videos, maybe like 500,000 views, if not less. So that is, relatively speaking, a low ceiling.
I like this idea on the screen right now.
Yeah, that'd be yeah. How would you title that?
I cheated at D&D and like
I
cheated
cheated at
show the
D&D.
weighted dice or something.
I cheated at D&D and got and lost 20 experience points because of it.
And 4 friends.
So I think obviously you want to do these big total addressable market videos like the one-on-one Dice Explained. It seems as if Dice, what do you call it? A dice tour, a tour of my dice, or showing off my dice collection. I think this is obviously one of these classic ideas that you can take and use in any niche. I tried the strangest D&D dice. I tried the most expensive.
Oh yeah.
I kind of,
that's a whole category.
I branded the dice. These ideas of manipulating the dice in some way, like $1 D&D dice versus a $1,000 D&D dice, if it exists, is one. I look at the outlier, like ones that are just visually very different or appealing, is cool. And I mean, if we look at the dice now, I guess this might be a good example, Dan, whereby, that's cool and interesting, but maybe that's title is just a little too clever.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you just make it more simple and say like video games as dice, or something more approachable and welcoming than I get the reference, but I think that's like a 25-year-old reference from what I remember in terms of memes. So I know it probably means something to you and it's quite clever, but to the broad audience, I'm not as convinced.
Yeah. There's like what you pointed out, such a good opportunity. I think that's the other bit of advice that I was going to say is like, look at what other collecting channels are doing for unique ideas. And are there like big sets of dice that you could maybe like try and hunt down that are, I don't, cause I don't know enough about this. Maybe that's just a thing with card collecting, but are there really rare dice that you can try and find? There's probably all kinds of different like journeys you can go on. And the more cool stuff you're able to do that is outside of just like, oh, I went to my local game shop and bought these dice. The things you could do where you're like really hunted for something, that'll stand out in the title and thumbnail. People will be like, okay, wow, this person like went out of their way to, do this experiment or whatever it is.
Tried YD&D dice this time, and do you have this one enormous outlier of how different dice is used in the game?
Oh, speaking of another idea I had, what if you did a versus video about like digital dice versus physical dice? And I bring this up because I think a lot of people play these games over a computer, and I've noticed like when I've looked into this, there are programs that can roll a dice for you, but now you're trusting code with the RNG, and replacing a dice. And I think there are certain people who play tabletop games who don't like that. Like if we're gonna play together over the internet, you still need to use physical dice. I've met people like that. So you could do a comparison between those two, like that whole debate.
Oh, how about I played Monopoly with D&D dice? I know it sounds funny and stupid.
No,
but I'm trying to come with outlandish ideas to not just appeal to the dice enthusiasts, which is there. Right. But I feel it's like I know what Monopoly is, and I know what D&D dice is, but
Yep, there we
am
go.
I really interested in the lore of D&D dice just by itself?
Right. Like dice reviews are one thing, and that's a good place to start. But you did tell us I want to like work for these companies and make products.
Yeah.
The products they make are games. If you use D&D dice in Monopoly or a similar game, you have to rewrite the rules so those dice make sense. Now you're making a whole new game, and you're not even having to like use too many tools to do it. You have dice and you have a rule sheet. You know, that could be really interesting. And so when people say I played Monopoly with D&D dice, you don't have to say, and I changed all the rules. People, that's like implied. People click on that because they're like, I wonder how that would work. You know, I think that the fact that they've told us what their goal is, like the big picture for them, is really like changing the way I look at this channel.
I'm going to do one more thing here because I forgot to talk about this a little earlier. Remember when we were looking at the Jellybean Craftz channel?
Yeah.
I did want to show our outliers tool because what I did is I set the filter to subscribers under 10,000 subscribers, and I wanted to see how other resin art channels made their thumbnails. And in particular, this Zarin resin art channel had some what I thought were really interesting, cool thumbnails with like a cool background, simple bit of text, good negative space, etc., etc. There may be some ideas for the Craftz channel, but now I'm going to change it to D&D Dice and just cross my fingers and let's see what results come out here potentially for this creator. Is there any? Oh, so here we are. Making your own dice. Is that a potential idea to try? I'm getting a lot of music stuff here as well, which isn't incredibly helpful, but there's a couple here at the top. Which how micro adjustments will improve your dice game. That's more like 6-sided dice. I'm not sure if that will be useful. But anyway, I just wanted to show off this tool a little bit to see if there was any useful inspiration we could take here. So yeah, I remember we saw that one a little earlier. The system is broken. D&D is fundamentally flawed. So it might be worth using the tool as well. And of course, this is part of all of our vidIQ tools that are available to you. And we do have a discount on right now for the beginning of 2025, where you can lock in a 25% off deal. The link is in the description. So do check that out if the Outliers tool or anything else interests you here from our wide-ranging tool sets. Do we have any final thoughts here, Dan, or do you think we've covered DiceCrazyDude for the time being?
I would say two things. I think your thumbnails in a lot of cases are just a little dark, especially for like a dice channel. I think the brightness and vibrance should be brought up a bit in a lot of these. And then I was going to say too, if you've ever been considering like doing a vlog of any kind, just for fun, like dice decide, like D&D dice decide my life for a day, it'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, that's another idea.
But it could fall a little flat. It's not your normal dice review content, but I think there's an audience for it, and it could kind of expand your audience. I don't know. There's all kinds of fun things we can do with a channel like this. I'm just gonna want to say, like, there's a lot of people who start YouTube channels and they're just like, I want to be a YouTuber, and I've said this before. But this channel is like, they have a passion, they have like a career goal in mind, and the YouTube channel is just part of that. And it makes it so much easier to think of like really cool, fun content ideas when you start with like that moment of like, oh, I already have this passion. I could turn that into a YouTube channel. It's hard to invent a passion out of thin air, you know?
I think we should take some questions on now, Dan. What do you think?
Sure.
I can find the right button, which that changes the background to the more fireside chat style. So let's see what questions we have. I think this came from Moshi Mods when we were talking about the art resin channel, where they maybe could have showed the mold before it had been altered in any way. So that's one way to do that. And Jellybean Craftz just acknowledging our audits. You're more than welcome. We hope we gave you some constructive feedback and ideas. And here's a question from Alex Bergeron. I think I pronounced that correctly. What are your favorite channels to watch? I will say MKBHD, and I will say Wrestling Bios. And because I'm now in the UK and we don't get SNL here, I do always watch Weekend Update because that's available. So those are the 3 channels I can think of off the top of my head. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I guess I watch a lot of channels. It kind of just depends on the mood. I don't know if this post went out yet, but I posted on the community tab about a creator I've been watching, Jenny Nicholson, who does like these really long deep dives on all kinds of topics. That's awesome. I mentioned the gaming creators I watched a little while ago. So yeah, I'll probably just leave that one there. I could probably list 1,000. I just I know we have a lot of questions too.
Well, maybe you should tackle this one, Dan. Laughing Bird is starting a gaming channel in 2025. Good.
Yes, and also next year and the year after.
See, what you need to do is on the 1st of January, every single year, maybe you need to subscribe to vidIQ on the 31st of December and check my notification bell. Because I guarantee you within 24 hours, there will be a video about how to start a gaming channel in said year. And Dan will have made it. So do check out vidIQ YouTube. We've made another one of these videos. There's a link. I don't know what you're going to do with that. Well, I guess it will actually be linkable in the chat, so you can click on it. But I don't know if you can paste it. Yeah. The super chat here from Houghton Bonsai. Oh, a bonsai channel. That would be interesting. I've never audited a bonsai channel before. Just wanted to say thanks. And we have Koi Fish Gaming now. Dan, we're up to 20 months of members. Almost going to have some 2-year celebrations coming up soon. That's from Koi Fish Gaming. We've got the Debbie Way Gaming is now 18 months. I'm now wondering what prompts StreamYard to tell us this. Well, does the person who's been a member?
They can click a button and say, remind everyone that I've been a member for a while.
Cool, Debbie. Well done. Well done, you. We have a question here from Tamil AI TV. News and politics category. What I need to improve? Well, we haven't audited your channel. I guess what we might say is, and I'm taking this purely from your profile image and your title, that if you are touting that you are an AI channel or there's automation going on and it's news and politics, then there's going to be a question of trustworthiness and credibility. But I'm saying that purely off the information that I have to hand. That may be a challenge to overcome if you are ostensibly an AI or automation channel of some description. Matt Cave Gaming. The tips and knowledge I've learned from vidIQ is absolutely priceless. Well, it's worth $10 actually, because that's what you've given us as a super chat. Can't thank you guys enough. Still learning more and more every day. Sorry, Dan, I cut you off. What was that?
It kind of capped the price on that, didn't
it? We are worth $10 of your time. Josh Sanderson, who I believe, according to Savage, is the new. What did Savage call Josh during the live stream? It was Mr. Wishlist or something like that. I can't remember.
Like wish.com, Mr. Beast, or something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
How do you guys find the time to run a channel and game?
Super important, honestly. I'm not joking.
I guess one of the benefits is that when you're finally able to take your passion, which is YouTube, and turn it into your full-time job, and if you then create boundaries and say, well, I'm going to do YouTube 9 to 5, it then gives me a little bit of time afterwards. But you do have to be very strict on that. It took me many years to find that work-life balance of suddenly the thing I love to do is now my job. I can do it 16 hours a day. Now I'm just refine that a little bit. So you do find that opportunity.
It's not just gaming. Like whatever you need to do to take a break is whatever you have to set aside time for it, because you will just burn out. Like you're working all day, then you have like the regular household chores to and food and stuff. You got to stay alive, and then you're doing YouTube, which can also be a lot of work, even though it's fun. So yeah, you have to take time to just do things to kind of use a different part of your brain. It's mega important. Like to find it. Just find it. Just like people will tell you, find time to do YouTube. You have to hustle and grind. And yes, okay, sure. Like you need to find time to do that. You have to find time for everything. But like, don't forget, don't sacrifice the relaxing time completely for the dreams of YouTube fame.
It's kind of weird that you kind of have to start hustling and grinding to get away from YouTube once it's a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Saint Mark with this sound effects, loving all of the help and advice, been a member for 4 months. And we've got a question here from the Smokes shop. Is Patreon still a thing? I never see it mentioned here. Well, I don't think we've ever had a Patreon, but Patreon is still widely used and widely regarded because it's financially a better deal for creators, quote unquote.
Weirdly,
That
they
used
have
to
a
be
lot
true.
of trust. Like, it's
Yeah.
harder to get people, from just anecdotal experience here, it's harder to get people to get a YouTube membership than it is to support you on Patreon, because I think Patreon's just been around longer. The money is going, it's Google setting up the account. I've always found it kind of odd, but there's just a weird level of like trust there. It might be because mobile apps take a cut and a lot of people watch on mobile. I don't know, but Patreon's very popular. We don't see a lot of channels using it, but we're also looking at channels who probably, are more focused on just like making really good videos right now, and Patreon's maybe something they do down the road.
And the final super chat for now, Dan, maybe you can help with this. I'm maybe losing something in translation here. Tamil AITV is asking a question. Keyword tool shows other YouTube channel name I can use. Are you talking about one of our tools is giving you a other channel name suggestion?
Yeah, I don't understand the question.
Following the question, I do apologize on that. I guess from a channel name point of view, what we encourage is that it's memorable, relatively short, easy to spell. And, your current channel name, I think, does that. But again, it just goes back to that question of news and politics versus AI-generated content. Is there a clash of trust and credibility there? Mm-hmm. All right, we'll finish the super chats there, and I will say to Vicky, we probably don't need any more non-super chats later on when we tackle them, because it looks as if there's a few more that we're going to answer after a little bit of pausing, because StreamYard keeps changing where everything's hidden in my menus. This. If you are new here, then the following takes place from now on. We're going completely random with channel selections. So we take the number from the form, which is currently 263 channel submissions. Oh, no, I don't want to use pictures. And then we send the claw into the ball pit. Oh, I've got time to tell you a little story.
Claw, please pick a number between 263.
A little story. This claw machine just reminded me. I went to a bowling alley to do crazy golf. I know it sounds a bit weird, but they had arcades whereby you got into a box and the roof opened up above you and just loads of balls fell out. That looked like this, and you had to put those balls in a hole as quickly as possible, like for 30 seconds. I loved it. I was in my element. Maybe I've got some video I can show you next week or something. But yeah, that was really fun. Anyway, channel 62. I was getting really distracted there, but that often happens during the stream. We are going to talk about a channel that's for new HGV drivers. Is that a phrase you're familiar with, Dan, in the US?
No, it's probably a special license, I guess. Okay, trucks.
It's heavy goods vehicles.
Oh.
All right. So the goal of this channel is to educate new heavy goods vehicles drivers, incorporating storytelling into education videos. That is such a good question, because we ourselves aren't the best of it. I think this is something we're really wanting to learn in 2025. But they also want us to look at the titles and thumbnails. So I guess we'll start with the titles and thumbnails. Vlogging and HGV tips. So the channel is 8,000 subscribers, and I think you're onto the right track here with the lowest common denominator, which is how much can I earn doing this job. I think it's very similar to when we make a video about YouTube monetization. The audience is always going to have that as an interest. So I think that's one of your foundational topic buckets that you can certainly go to frequently, but not all of the time. So yeah, stick to that. What about thumbnails, Dan?
I like the last two.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the second one should maybe be like tilted up a little bit so you can see the roundabout a little bit better, but that's like a small detail. I still like where it's going. I like them better than when they're just cut out on a plain background.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's very engaging. Not that they haven't worked. It's just if you're asking about my preferences, I like where they're going right now.
I mean, I think ideally Dan's saying like, this video performed well, but if it had a thumbnail that was kind of similar to this in style, then it might have done it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because like CPC changes in itself, I don't know what that means, but I understand this one. That I'm drawn by the salary, and then you have that subtle truck in the background. Like that has some it's really clear as a thumbnail, but it's also kind of nuanced and intriguing as well.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there, Dan.
No, I think they're in a very similar boat as we are, right? Like we do a lot of YouTube growth videos. I'm making a video on this right now that should probably come out, I think, on Friday. But I talk about like content buckets, and because we recently had a video that we would consider in a totally different content bucket that didn't do well, suddenly do very well, and that's what the whole story is about. And it was me basically saying like, this is another content bucket for us, and I think we should absolutely fill it with more content sometimes. And so for you, you're already kind of doing that because you're educating people on like the technical bits of what they're going to need to know if they're getting into this as a job. But then you're trying to bring in new people as well with this salary video. So you mentioned storytelling, and I wonder if there's another content bucket where you are talking about different trips that you're on, and you can vlog through that a little bit. You're doing some POV driving, so I guess that's on the table for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, telling interesting stories about things that happen on the road and vlogging through that could be an entire content bucket. And I think still interesting to the same audience, but importantly, also interesting to an audience that may not want to do this as a job, but is kind of fascinated by it. And I think for us, that other content bucket of like we were telling stories about another creator, and if you weren't interested in making a YouTube channel, you might still find enjoyment in that content, and so it kind of broadens our audience. And that's kind of where your channel is. I think you have like this opportunity to kind of try a few different things and have a few different types of viewers on your channel.
Shall we try? I want to try this one then, the first 30 seconds, because it feels like this one could be a storytelling one in the sense of how can they create intrigue, potential jeopardy, potential stakes in the first 30 seconds. I think this is the closest to a potential storytelling thumbnail and title I can see.
Yeah.
I think you can handle loading this machine. All right, let's try.
Hello, everybody.
Ooh,
Thank you.
sorry, that's my fault.
Joining me. Not done any recording for a couple of weeks because, with the weather getting darker, I've been starting quite early and then finishing halfway through the day. So, it's kind of made it a little bit more difficult to do some recording. But we've got a slightly later start today, just about 8:45, just leaving the yard.
So I think this would be the intro that comes after the hook.
Yeah.
Because I think in the first 30 seconds, we've learned nothing about handling. I think you can handle loading this machine. We've learned nothing about the machine or loading it or any of those aspects. It's very vloggy, and it's like we kind of need to know who you are, and that perhaps is why this vlog content isn't quite as appealing to the audience as much. My initial thoughts, but I loved like the technical setup, the fact that you got two cameras running, and despite the fact that you're driving a very loud truck, presumably the audio was pretty crisp and clear as well.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. This is kind of what I was hoping to see. Like my expectation was you were going to be in the truck, talking and talking about your day and stuff. So this is all working for me. Yeah, I would love it if there was like a hook that I guess was just a little more aligned with the title.
I've done a quick search, and there are other creators in your space. So a little bit of research. You've probably already done this, but is there any vlogging techniques that they're using that you can maybe test on your content as well? But there's, again, another channel with a lot of potential, super niche as well. I don't think we've ever covered it. I feel as if we may have audited this channel before. Now, I'm getting flashbacks about that particular outlier, but I think it's the only channel we've ever audited in this niche. We've just happened to do the same one twice.
Yeah. It's a very interesting and unique channel because of their job and how unique it is. So yeah, this is cool.
Massive barrier to entry. You can't just like hire a heavy goods vehicle and then start careering around town.
Oh, right.
You need a license to do this.
Right. It's not like van life where you can just buy a van and and even that's a big barrier, but a lot of people got in on van life,
All right, let's audit a gaming channel. We're at 211 gaming channels. So I need to adjust the form like so. And we'll pick out channel 67. And it is Hannah Fraser, who has 500 subscribers, pushing 200 videos. And we'll learn a little bit more about them. The goal of the channel is to build a community and get a bit more confident. Struggling with motivation right now. So maybe we'll try and assess a channel and find out why motivation might be a struggle. Thumbnails is what they want us to look at, Dan. So in terms of motivation, I'm seeing like a high cadence of videos, publishing multiple times a week at the moment. And they are making custom thumbnails, but custom thumbnails in the sense that it's a different aspect of the game, but it is essentially the name of the game and a part number. And is it creating enough intrigue? That would be a question we ask. The titles have this very formulaic approach to them. And it looks as if they generally do a let's play on a game for 6 or 7 parts and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the through line of the type of game you play.
Yeah.
Because it's fine if you're going to like switch up, play through a game, start a new game. A lot of people do that. Indie,
visual novel horror.
Like I noticed Unpacking, for example, which is a lot of people would classify that as like a cozy game, right? And people who like cozy games don't typically watch horror games. And so that is why it's so important to still have a through line of some kind. You can play different games, but you have to understand that every time you switch dramatically from one to another, you're gonna have to kind of start to rebuild again and again and again and again. And we've talked about trying new things today, and we've talked about doing different content buckets on your channel and how you can appeal to different audiences. But like the important thing to remember is that those audiences should still have a chance to cross over from one type of content to another. There should still be that opportunity there. And I think it is like knowing pretty well the cozy gaming space, it's really difficult to get those viewers to try a horror game. Like really difficult. That's not what they're about.
We can probably see where the struggle with motivation is coming from in that they had this, I guess, outlier series of games 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But if you just look at the packaging, just the packaging, nothing else, from 2 years ago to what it is today, essentially nothing has changed. They play a game for 4 or 5 parts, and they don't try and really build a level of intrigue. It's very much just functional. What am I doing today?
Yeah.
And 2 years later, the views now are a lot less than they were on the almost popular series. So the general consensus here is that you've been doing the same thing over and over again for 2 years and like hoping for growth, and the opposite has happened. So I think from a fundamental perspective, this creator needs like just to experiment with some brand new ideas and formats just to get out of this funk.
So a couple things. I want to look at one of these videos on the popular, but before we do, you could take any of these since you're kind of playing through these games. Try doing this once and see how you like it and see how it performs. But take all of the videos from a series and edit them into a full playthrough. I give this advice sometimes. It's not for everybody, but try
Let's
it
do it
once.
with this one. Let's do it with these now. Let's just put all of these together.
Yes. Because if you say game name full playthrough, that's a more like interesting title to me than Destroy Mr. Sunshine, which I don't really understand what that means. It worked. I shouldn't pick on that video because it's the best one, but I'm just saying a lot of titles are like this on the channel where they say like, you know, some tiny little thing to try and intrigue people, like, can I impress her? Finding a spark. It's just not telling me about what the video, like what is going to happen in the video, what is your goal in the video. But if you say full playthrough, that writes itself. Now we're talking about a complete experience. It's all done. You did the full playthrough of this game. The title is the easiest part to nail there. And then it's just a matter of getting people to watch because they like that game.
Did you want us to watch one of these videos, Dan? Do you have
on the popular tab? I want to see what that game is because I have another piece of advice depending on what the heck we're looking at. So yeah, just
part one or just any of these?
Part one's fine. I just want to know what the heck the game is.
Hey, how's it going? And welcome to a game called Piku Niku?
Good audio.
I hope I'm pronouncing it right. We're playing as this wee
Piku
red fella
Niku.
with the lovely legs. So let's play.
I will pause there again. Like, it's similar to the horror channel that we covered earlier, where it's I'm just going to play this game today. Let's play. Let's jump in.
Yeah,
it is very much the classic let's play style of content, which we know is a very, very saturated aspect. Now, maybe this creator had some success with this game because not many people were playing it, or like that they were one of the first to play this game.
Right place, right time.
Yeah.
So
hi, hello.
Let's pause it real quick.
Oh.
Like, I think, or you could at least mute it. The biggest aspect here to me is ignoring the outlierness of this. The kind of content you enjoy making is I'm playing this game. I'm just going to try it. And to me, the meta for that right now is doing the full playthrough videos. That's kind of what these Let's Plays have turned into. Doing full playthroughs of games if you just want to play a game, or live streaming them. So that's the first piece of advice. The second is look how colorful and vibrant this game is. It is obviously a platformer. I think that you should be trying more indie platformers similar to this game because it seems like it's matching the vibe of some of the other successful content on your channel. It seems to be something you're interested in playing. We saw Unpacking again, like it's more of a colorful, chill kind of game. I think there is a lot that can be done when you like just focus on like a specific style of game. And then what do you do with that content? If you can't challenge yourself in any kind of unique way, then maybe full playthroughs are a way to go. But I don't know, those are just a couple ideas, and I'm just speaking as one person's experience. I encourage you to go out and look at other styles of gameplay videos to see if anything else jumps out at you that I haven't suggested here today. But yeah, there's an opportunity here. You can just play games. It's okay, but I've noticed that full playthroughs are the way people are kind of tackling those now.
This is one of our latest videos, Dan. So, when we talk about what they were doing 2 years ago versus what they're doing now.
Hey, how's it going? And welcome to Until Then. This is a game where we follow a young man named Mark throughout his life and how sort of setting off a chain reaction of events. Apparently to the internet, though, this is quite a sad game, so there's a good chance I will cry. Let's play.
So we'll pause it there. It feels the audio's improved even more, I will add. But have you ever experimented having yourself in front of camera reacting, especially when you say you think you might cry during this game? There is that potential opportunity to build an emotional connection with the game that the viewer can see and then emotionally connect to you. But again, I appreciate that you may not want to get in front of camera, but I'm not seeing enough attempts, enough improvement or reinvention of the content from 2 years ago to today.
Yeah, I thought of a funny title idea. It wouldn't be the same series that you did here, but playing Until Then Until I Cry.
Yeah, what an idea. Yeah, playing video games until I cry.
Playing blank game until I blank. That's like a format. I don't know. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do, but like we was telling the other gaming channel we saw earlier today, it's just I call it off the shelf content, right? It's hey, I got this game and I'm just going to play it, and it's the same kind of experience I would get playing the game. You're just kind of playing the game. You know, it really is so engaging to watch a streamer or someone doing a video take a game and torture it to death, or or just do something different with it. It's obviously not the only way to do it, but it's something that I gravitate towards, so I give that advice a lot.
Okay, another non-gaming channel here. Oh dear. AI nonsense.
Okay.
Let's see where we get with this
Channels
one.
like this work. I've seen this work.
Comedy and entertainment. Your biggest obstacle is it so is your obstacle the algorithm or the audience? I think we need to try and figure that out.
Yeah.
Because it's the audience. It's what you're struggling with right now. First impressions, videos, or shorts. All right. So this might be tricky because we don't know what we're getting into here. Squid Game 2 ruined by AI. Spider-Man 2002 with crazy AI. Home Alone recap, but bad memories. I do remember seeing some Home Alone AI trailers through AI at Christmas. I thought they were very entertaining. I want to click on one of these, Dan, but I'm too scared to.
I'd be scared as well. You know what I think is the thumbnails are not selling the story enough. Like these games ruined by AI. Like, sure, that sounds kind of funny. It's a trend, but it's not, the thumbnail's not showing me enough, right? Like, how is it ruined? Like, just, you don't even need text on the screen. Just show that. Just show the bit that looks kind of cursed, you know?
Oh, goodness. Oh,
yeah. Like
speaking
that,
of Dan, speaking of Dan, you've never seen this film, but that definitely does not happen.
Are they like siblings or something?
No, it's just Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum and not succeeding with women. Basically. Right. But yeah, ruined by AI. that you see that.
Yes.
That is the thumbnail we want to see.
Yes. That's it.
That makes me want to click.
We don't need to give this channel any more advice. I'm not even joking. Like, that is just show how it was ruined. Show something shocking, right? I have a reaction to like most of these thumbnails.
Yeah.
We're done here.
I think we are, yeah.
It's the thumbnails.
They talk about, so it did talk about thumbnails. So I guess in terms of audience, like I think you're probably finding the right audience, which is you're going to tap into popular films and TV, like tackling Mr. Beast games while it's on. I think that's great. Yes, Home Alone during Christmas, fantastic. What's the biggest film that's coming out very soon? I can't think. My mind's gone blank. What are the big?
There's a Captain America movie coming out. I don't know.
Captain America. I think there's been a new trailer released for that. That could be something that you could AI manipulate if you want to. So I think you're targeting the right stuff. Dan's probably right. It is finding that magical thumbnail moment to package your content. And ruined by AI does seem to be a strong search term on YouTube. But that also means it's probably quite competitive already as well. Kind of simple in one sense, that one, isn't it? In terms of the feedback. Channel 89. We'll do another non-gaming channel. And this one's not giving us too much help on the...
we should talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. So you remember when we talked about the Dice channel, which had really clear goals and like had a really clear idea of what they wanted to achieve with their channel. This channel is just saying they want to monetize. Their obstacles are views. I want to improve the quality of my content and pass through to long form content. Is that maybe you have shorts that you want them to watch long form content?
Yeah. This is what everybody wants.
On these answers. Yeah, it's what everybody wants. And maybe maybe you're just not that far enough into the YouTube journey yet that you have developed these specific pain points that you have and so on. With that being said, Dan, let's introduce the channel. Royal Family Anecdotes.
Yeah.
So they have one, hang on, when did this start? So relatively new channel. And they have hundreds of thousands of views. It looks like they've already had some shorts success. And they're covering the royal family, which I think is fine. That's a perfectly fine niche to cover. Nothing wrong there. And then Yes, I know they were sitting over Taj Mahal when that picture was taken from Princess Diana. Do we need to watch one of these?
Well, maybe something. The latest one, or I'm just kind of curious if they're telling the stories with a voiceover, kind of like I'm used to in short.
Yeah. I'm gonna do Prince William as a royal baby. Okay. I don't know if our music is copyrighted. So it's YouTube music.
Also tell the story. Like I don't think the music is adding much. Like when I see shorts about public figures and stuff, or just an event or something happening, usually there's a voiceover, and it's like, this was the day, you know, who was it? Prince Harry was born, or something like that. Like, tell us something interesting about that day. Just.
I was right. Yay! Okay. That was a little quiz.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't think there's like enough meat on the bone. That's like my critique of that content. I don't know how you pivot into long form without kind of starting to practice that type of storytelling with shorts. Shorts can be a really good way to practice that.
They do have some videos here with tens of thousands of views. So we'll look at this one. There could be. Oh no. Oh no, I guess there is some transformation there because they're adding some commentary and making it a bit of a joke. Although I couldn't really hear what the joke was.
I think she said he's a bit dumb. But the music is taking, like, it's making it hard to hear, you know. So there's a bit of like, quality that should be considered there. You don't need the music, especially for if you're trying to like just listen to a comment like that. So yeah, we can kind of like look at these shorts and give different bits of feedback here and there. I don't know if
I think what I will say is that they've made incredible progress, Dan. Remember, they started on the 2nd of January, so this channel isn't even a month old.
True.
They have 1,000 subscribers, so they've already hit that big monetization milestone. Royal family is a good topic to cover, and you know, maybe for where they are on a YouTube journey right now, like maybe adding some more storytelling beats, like a voiceover, perhaps, are things that they can start to focus on next. And I probably wouldn't worry yet about this transition of your shorts audience to your long form content. I can continue working on shorts for the next 2 to 3 months, in my opinion. Because I think what I'm trying to say is, my guess is if this is long form, just music and text.
Princess Diana's first day at Kensington
so this is
Palace,
AI
a new beginning.
narration.
July 8th, 1981, London. For Diana Spencer,
that doesn't look like 1981 London, if I'm honest. No. I don't think the AI image matches the audio there.
Was one of the most significant moments of her life. Just weeks before
this is just
was just beginning. The palace felt
story being told
and familiar.
That's it. Yeah.
Diana would be expected to maintain.
So I don't think worrying about long form content is something to do just yet.
No, we need a lot more. I get on a microphone, please. Like, it's gonna help you so much. It takes work, it takes practice, but like, please invest in a microphone. Take that step. Voiceovers are gonna help your shorts. You're gonna be able to practice storytelling. Hearing a voice like that, most people just click off like that, especially that kind of AI voice in particular. It's so robotic. It's you know, I just want to. I think they're on the right track. Like you said, January they started. That's so cool. That's this month, but. Like, hey,
they have a niche, they have the audience.
Yes,
they figured one of the hardest bits out already.
Yes, but there's more to it. There's still so much more. So yeah, I'm trying to help them skip some steps. I guess they could spend years doing that, or they could jump to the next rung on the ladder.
Have I picked? Is this a gaming channel? You said they're a gaming channel.
Okay.
PadrePioCTF. I hope I've said that right. Just a normal guy who likes making game related videos. Okay, this is kind of an awkward one, isn't it? Because sometimes we audit game development channels that have been filled in a non-gaming form. And it's like, I can kind of see that. We'll allow it on this occasion. Anyway, let's look at the notes. I would like to provide educational and entertaining content. YouTube thumbnails and titles for show, and of course consistency. Titles and thumbnails, kind of overall package. All right, so let's start with the package. I think this is decent packaging, recreating Star Wars VFX with $0. I think that's a pretty cool packaging. It's not new, I would say, but I think it's a fairly strong start for me.
It is the everything about it is working in terms of like thumbnail construction. My only advice, or at least curiosity, something you could try as like a test on the free side, don't show the green screen. Something is presumably going to go on the green screen. Show us that. And maybe you could be kind of like tongue in cheek and make it look like a child's drawing or something as a background, just to really catch people off guard. But I think the free one is not delivering, and that's the one that's really supposed to sell, right? Because you almost want to swap them from reading from left to right. But I love this packaging overall, so I can only like nitpick and things like that. I think their lighting is good. I think they know how to construct a good thumbnail. I think these are all good examples of good solid thumbnails. So now it's just about the messaging in those thumbnails. And so that video just jumped out at me. I'm like, ooh, we have a good idea here. It's just like the execution's like, for me personally, to get me to click, it's just like almost there.
With that being said, does this video mark an enormous pivot for the channel?
Oh.
Because Star Wars, a farewell message, maybe it's just a message, or maybe they're telling us, hey, I'm not doing Minecraft anymore. I'm doing Star Wars. That's a big audience jump, in my opinion, from one topic to another. Yeah. I almost feel as if if you're going to start doing Star Wars stuff, it feels like a new channel to me, and continuing to have this channel focus on Minecraft in case you wanted to return to that topic in the
Should we watch it just to try and see if they say?
Go on, now let's quickly find out. I'm sorry, I need to skip through. I just need to.
10,000. That is just crazy. I was also reflecting back on what happened in 2024.
10,000.
I completely forgot. I did my face reveal this year. That literally feels like. I will be trying to make as many YouTube videos as physically possible.
Okay,
the goal is about a video every 2 weeks. If I can slip in a video every, just happened this past week. I was making some satisfying Blender animations, and I was like, you know what? I might as well post them because they look cool. I was trying to make them loop, so I posted them. I literally checked back on Instagram. 3 of them are over 2.4 million views.
Well, so he has success on other platforms, which is cool. Yeah. But there wasn't any particular mention there about a pivot towards Star Wars effects, and that is not gaming at all, in my opinion.
It does seem like they are the natural pivot that seems to be happening, whether this creator internalizes it or not, is that you are using your skills with Blender to create this type of kind of content that maybe relate to gaming topics, but is not gaming, and that's cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. So it's kind of a matter of just continuing down that road. Like, this is a skill set that you have. It creates a higher barrier to entry. It's hard to do Blender animations. It's something you have to learn. I think I've seen so many versions of the short by now, by the way.
Did Jake Fellman pioneer this, or was he the one who was one of the most successful at it?
Maybe. I've seen a lot of versions of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool that you kind of did your take on it. I generally like this channel, and I think they have like a unique skill set, and I think they should lean into it, is my encouragement for them.
I guess just given what was previously on the channel, Dan, which was Minecraft for years, really focused on Minecraft, and probably a gaming channel, but now gaming related content. Like, those shorts have done all right. They've got 1,000 views on. See, I almost feel as if that might be a better thumbnail where you just slice that in half.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I'm getting a little distracted now. I don't know, I'm feeling as if I will be thinking about starting a brand new channel. But the other argument here is probably money. They probably monetize this channel.
I don't know if they need to. I just think they should plan out their content. You said you want to make a video every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Start planning ahead as to what. They don't even have to be the exact videos. Just like what do you want the channel to look like 3 months from now, right? Like, what kind of content do you want to have made?
Fair point.
And just try and stay on like a track, because I think if you go back to like Minecraft Let's Plays from like the Blender content, I think that's a bit jarring. But I think you have a really unique skill set, and I always try to encourage creators to like lean into the things they're really, really good at.
All right. We got some super chats, and I think we need to deal with them. Houghton Bonsai, they're in the draw every week. Haha. I think they're relating back to saying we're intrigued at potentially auditing a bonsai channel. Again, I apologize if something has been lost in translation here from Pathlif. Vid took 2 weeks and all night. Can you rate, please? All right. So it took them 2 weeks to make a video, working all day and all night. That's not what we do here in terms of being paid to rate channel videos. I guess what I will try and paraphrase in terms of it doesn't necessarily matter how long you spend making a video if the idea doesn't work with your audience.
Yep. Because
time doesn't equate to value in that sense. But again, without seeing the video, we can't really add more to that. Father, love your video. Thanks. We've made many. Which video do you love? You don't have to reply with a super chat. What about car vlog meme content?
There's two different things in there. I think you could do car vlogging content. I think memes are, I don't know. I guess it depends. Are they car memes? Are you injecting them into your edits? It's hard. That's a really difficult, broad question to answer. So I can only now. I'm just imagining the type of content that could look like.
Doesn't I've forgotten his name. Josh Sanderson, the car channel who's posting a lot of comments. I think he's kind of he's kind of like close to that car vlogging, but kind of more storytelling, but might have meme elements in the videos or comedy.
I think the way to think about vlogs is it's a story, all right? Like, so telling a story while you do something else is always a good idea.
Advice Alien, humans see many talk shows. How do I grow one? My personal thought, it's purely a personal thought. I'm not sure if it's necessarily transfers itself to YouTube in terms of podcast talk shows, but I always feel as if the strength of a talk show is built around the permanence of the hosts. It's cool to have on amazing, well-known guests, but I still think from week to week, the viewer is going to come back for the relationship with the hosts or hosts and how they interact with each other and the audience.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dan?
I think podcasts have replaced like talk shows in a lot of ways, and I think also YouTubers that just sit down for 20 minutes and talk about a topic have replaced late night talk shows and talk shows in general. So that it could be either thing. I don't know which direction they want to go. How do you grow one? If it is a podcast, shorts, take advantage of that for sure. Take clippable moments that feel like they're part of a podcast, but don't feel like I had to be there for the whole podcast to understand the short. It's a competitive space, but yeah, it is really going to be about the topics. I think it's sure if you can get a cool guest, great, but like, what is it about? What is the goal of the show for the viewer? Like, what are they supposed to get out of it? All that general kind of advice. Hopefully there's a nugget in there, but
Archie was wondering why my recent video impressions are so low. My others average 15,000 to 30,000. Does copyrighted music kill videos in the algorithm? There is nothing in the YouTube support pages, literature, or general conversation coming out of YouTube that tells us that copyright claimed content or copyright strikes will kill the momentum of a video or a channel. You know, I have seen this conspiracy theory that I've kind of have in my own head, in that if YouTube identifies a particularly short channels, which is just full of copyrighted material, then it just doesn't share it with an audience. But again, that's just my own personal feelings. It's one of these, we're not YouTube, so it's really difficult to answer. We can only tell you what we know from experience.
I'll say this. Does your music selection make certain viewers just meh? Like you're selecting songs that are popular because they're copywritten and presumably heard all over the place on Spotify, etc. Do people watch that and go, I don't like that song, I don't like that artist, I don't like with epidemic sound kind of music, it's a little less emotional connection. You don't know anything about the people making it, which is a little unfortunate, I guess, but that's kind of like the benefit of using music from like Epidemic versus copyrighted music. Plus, it's just killing your monetization opportunities as well. So that's, in my mind, that's the only way your impressions could get hurt, if you're picking songs that people just don't like.
Podcast studios. Is it possible a channel like mine with varied content, I mean, without a defined niche, can be successful? I'm trying to find a way, Dan, to answer this succinctly. So let me think about it for a moment. What are your thoughts?
I think the niche is a very weird thing, and I think it's easy for us to give advice and say you should be focused on Minecraft. That should be your niche. When really it's about so much more. But there should be a through line, and you can be part of that through line. But how do you approach content creation? That's what something should be consistent. People should know what they're going to get when they come back to you, whether it's because of the things you're talking about or because of the way you're talking about them. But something has to be there, I think, to help snowball the audience. You could maybe live off viral moments here and there, but we're talking about growing community. Snowball that audience, like get them to understand the types of things you do to get them coming back.
Got to say, Dan, you've answered that really well. So all I will add is that niche can sometimes be a catch-all term for being consistent. And consistency doesn't always have to be about like a particular niche. It could be, as Dan said, through lines or like shared values, shared messages,
shared values for sure.
A shared belief system that you have with your audience. And that allows you to go from niche to like topic to topic rather than niche to niche. Yes. And if we go any further, I will just start rambling. So I think that's the best way we can answer this. Thank you, AA Farming, for whatever it was, 99 cents of euros came from. Bacon VR says, when I can play the sound effect, is having 18,500 subscribers good for doing a year in YouTube?
Yes.
I mean, again, we're just talking about numbers. I don't know how many of those subscribers translate into average views per video, but I would say that is an excellent progress. You know, typically it takes a creator around about a year to monetize, and that would be 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, again, shorts kind of muddies the waters as well because you can grow very fast with shorts. We have a question here from Ages and Pages. I like that channel name. Do I need to be afraid of a niche if my channel is inspired by watching Mojo?
But Watch Mojo, they do like, I think top 10 listicles.
Listicles, yeah.
I just think you should be bringing your own spin to it. What are they doing that you thought, oh, I could do that, but then you have to like crank it up a notch a little bit. You should differentiate yourself. I take inspiration from all kinds of places, and it ends up Frankensteining into my own thing, you know? So I think if you do try to do exactly what they're doing, but a cheaper version of it, being that you're not as large as they are, you know, bring your own spin to it.
Yeah, and Watch Mojo, I think I've been on YouTube for decades.
Longer than YouTube.
Point, right? Yeah, almost longer than YouTube. All right, and Leo Brenua, sorry if I pronounce your surname incorrectly. Strike after X months, do I have to pay back dollars? Is this a community guideline strike or a copyright strike? In any respect, I don't think you ever have to pay back money in like typical common circumstances. Like maybe in extreme circumstances, there may be reason for YouTube to try and claw back revenue that they've not already paid out to you. But without more context, it's difficult to answer.
Yeah, I know that the copyright system works such that if a copyright claim on the video is made, copyright strike for documentary fair use, you would only have to pay that back if the documentarians came after you in court. You know, YouTube will create an escrow account and put money sometimes, depending on, you know what I mean?
When it's being appealed and disputed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually it's the money you're making like currently, and it moves, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not like the money they've already given you a check for that they're going to demand. Again, the studio can come after you if they want, but YouTube isn't going to be like, hey, give that back. No, they paid you. That you're done. So, but from a legal standpoint, yeah, I mean, people can sue you and then enjoy.
Hang on.
It's a slow alarm.
To the best of our knowledge, we are not copyright experts or lawyers, and we don't work for YouTube.
Right.
Hashtag massive disclaimer.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, that brings us to just past the top of the hour.
You should talk to a lawyer, it sounds like.
Yes. Ian Corzine is a well-renowned YouTube lawyer. Maybe worth contacting him. But of course, there are probably fees attached to that. We are at the top of the hour and appreciate your time. We have looked at some fascinating channels this week, which have caught our interest. And we will be back again next week for more channel audits. In the meantime, if you want dedicated thumbnail audits, then John will be your port of call tomorrow. So if you are subscribed, click the notification bell to make sure that you are notified when John goes live. Other than that, Dan, do you have any final thoughts before we wave awkwardly at the screen to end this live stream?
No, just have a good day, take breaks, and do what you do best.
Let's do that then. End the stream. And remember, folks, go create something today.